All right, kids, Unhappy Wednesday. Coming to you live back here in our humble abode this week, and I will explain why in just a few minutes. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us from wherever you may be and whatever device you're using to watch on YouTube, because that still is the only place you can get us. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if, by God, you're still stuck at work. Crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity, and let's have some fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Yeah, back here flying solo at home tonight. A lot due to the fact that I've spent quite a bit of time at the Back Porch Saloon over the past week. So last Wednesday we did this show there, and then Saturday night I was up there. Sunday we were there for the game, Midwest Eagles Nest. Tomorrow night we will be there for the game, Midwest Eagles Nest, and just kind of needed an evening at home to do this, and thank God we planned on it this way too, because I'll be honest with you, my day at work today was atrocious, and yesterday work was fine, but got some disturbing news about a family member. It's been a pretty rough couple of days over here for me, anyways. So if I seem a little out of it, if I sound a little worn out, it's because I am. Um, the work is the work. I'm covering for another guy who's on vacation, and that's no big deal. Um, Today, one of my forklift drivers, and it wasn't his fault at all. He was operating 100% safely in an area where pedestrians are not allowed, and someone decided to cut through that end of the building, that part of the warehouse floor. It's a receiving dock on our climate controlled side of the building. Pallets are double stacked. He is driving on the back side of it to head towards break time. So on the front of our new forklifts, the headlights stay on. There is also your blue halo light coming off the front, and he's honking the horn the whole way through. And this girl walks in between double stacks of pallets right out in front of him, and he hit her. He hit her with the forklift. Um, Thankfully, the young lady is actually okay. It was minor injuries. She got incredibly lucky. Um, she had to go to urgent care to get checked out and everything, drug tested, and she had a split on her head up here. Don't know if that came from the forklift hitting her or from her flying away and hitting the ground. Um, yeah. So he he called me right away. So I went running back there. Um, she was holding a rag on her head. I had uh, our safety person with us. We went over and talked to her. She admitted she was at fault. Said she was not where she was supposed to be. Um, I went to go find my employee. He was outside the back door. I got outside. He's sitting down, shaking like his whole body was shaking, and he was crying. Um, and I know you guys don't know this guy, but he's pretty tough dude. So to see him like that, he was obviously shooken up. It's just a tough day. So now I got to drive him over to take his drug test, and we get back, and he's clear, he's fine. He's a little nervous to get back on the lift. Then there were some people on the production line that were not too far away that saw the whole thing, kind of saw it happen, heard it happen, heard him screaming at her when he got off the lift after the accident. Some words coming out of his mouth that probably shouldn't have. So all these people are upset. It was just a shit day. And at the end of it, I'm standing outside having a cigarette. It's about 20 after 3. I got a message from one of my sons. The two of them got into a fight here at home, and one of they have wireless headsets that they got for Christmas last year, and due to the start of the fight, Liam's headset got broken. So right at the end of a crappy day at work, I'm like, all right, this day's finally over. Hit the reset button. Come on back again tomorrow, and I got to come home and deal with this. So the plan was to come home, get the show set up, and then take Liam over to the gym like we had been doing every day. But because I got held up a little bit later at work, didn't really get home till about 5. Plus the fight between these two, really kind of needed to sit down as a family and talk about this sort of shit. I am exhausted. Yesterday, I got a picture of one of my family members who has a massive drinking problem. She supposedly fell and smashed her face all up. We don't know whether it was a fall or if she got hit by her husband. Sheriff was called. Wellness check has been asked for. There's going to be another phone call placed on that tomorrow. It's been a rough couple of days, guys. So just bear with me tonight. This may not be the most entertaining show. I'm going to try. I did not get to prepare much at all. It's going to be a little bit of a shit show. So, could I use a joke to cheer me up? First of all, Lou Mancini in the room. What's up, people? How you doing, Lou? Keenan Hardman joins us. What's up, peeps? What's up, my man? Lou Mancini, hang in there, buddy. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Like I said, covering for the guy who I'm covering for at work, that's not a big deal. We cover for each other when when each of us are on vacation. But then you get what happened today. Just, God, just takes all the life right out of you. Do I need a joke to cheer me up, Keenan? Yeah, so let's see what you got here. If you have 2 boobs in one hand and 4 bobs in the other, what do you have? Really big hands. Nice. Let me get to the business of things real quick. My wife's favorite part of the show. Everyone, we are proudly sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia, just minutes away from the sports complex. Cheerleaders brings you the area's most beautiful women on 5 different stages. Open 7 days a week from noon until 2 a.m. and until 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. For group information, call 215-467-1980 and reserve a private booth and party package. Also offering free parking, a full menu, daily drink and food specials, and a premium selection of cigars and a cigar lounge. If you're looking for a place to watch the big game and you cannot get to the link to the bank or what have you, head on over to Cheerleaders and enjoy the 75-foot HD TV wall as well as HD TV screens throughout the entire club. Once again, folks, that's Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. All right. Wait, Keenan, that was supposed to be boobs both times. Well, I figure it's a new time. You could grabbing ladies in one hand, grabbing dudes with the other, boobs, bobs, Someone please tell YouTube there needs to be an edit button. Who cares? We have fun with it either way, right? All right. So, boner of the week, I don't know. We could go with Deebo Samuel, right? Who's literally deboing his teammates on the sideline. I kind of like the Michael Irvin thing. So, Michael Irvin went to the U, right? Or the U. And also was, of course, a Dallas Cowboy. And so he's at that Miami game on Saturday when they went and got beat by freaking Georgia Tech. He's on the sidelines. Just nothing makes me happier than watching a guy like that be completely disheveled, completely distraught. Miami was 9-0 heading into a game against a 5-4 Georgia Tech team, which, don't get me wrong, better than people thought they would be, but you're still 9-0 coming in, right? I mean, Cam Ward throws for 348 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And you still can't figure out a way to win this game. And of course, Ward at the end with the horrendous fumble to put the nail in the coffin, give Georgia Tech the game. And there the whole time is good old Michael Irvin. Probably tuned up again, I'm sure. Having himself a good old time, probably talking all kinds of smack pregame. First quarter, we up 10-7. Well, then you're down 14-10 at halftime, and you end up losing the game because your stud quarterback has a horrendous fumble. Nice. So, he's got to get over that. Got to lick his wounds on Saturday. Probably went and drank it off. Who knows if he picked a fight in a bar anywhere. He's been known to do that sometimes too. And then Sunday, he's got the big game against our Birds, his Cowboys. Cooper Rush is going to show everyone why he's this or that. We all know what happened there. 34-6 final score, which we're going to get into here in just a few minutes. So yeah, I'm sure Michael Irvin was running his mouth all last week. We're going to, the U's going to whack Georgia Tech, and the Cowboys are finally going to prove something at home against those Philadelphia Eagles, and blah, 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 blah. And both games, he loses, right? Birds are the better team. So, that wasn't a surprise. Georgia Tech beating Miami, huge shock. So, yeah, I agree, Lou. You can also toss in Uncle Jerry with his defense of the stadium. Let me see if I can find the exact words for that. Jerry Jones defends ATT Stadium. Yeah, the sun glare problem. That's right. Yep. Defends Zeke and the Sun at the stadium. I mean, it's a joke. That game, look, and people were trying to tell me that while we were watching the game. Now, look, Midwest Eagles Nest, we had a massive day on Sunday. A couple of weeks ago when the Birds were in town playing the Bengals, we had business cards made with our logo with our kind of image on the front. It says Midwest Eagles Nest. On the back, QR code for our Facebook group and the address and information for the Back Porch Saloon. Mike and I had, I think, 10 people handing these business cards out just all over town when the Birds were here playing the Bengals. Because there were a lot of Birds fans here, and it brought in everyone from the local area. So it was just, yo, you local? Here. Yo, you local? Here. Well, here we are a couple of weeks later, playing the Cowboys in Dallas. Obviously, we all hate them. And I advertised it was going to be picture day for the group, which I'm hoping to have those pictures tomorrow night. We ended up with 70 people at the Back Porch on Sunday. Now, I know that sounds like a small number, especially when you look at a Green Legion footprint at Xfinity. It's like 950. I get it. But out here in a suburb of Cincinnati, 70 people. And look, I put these events up in our group page, and I beg people to respond and tell me that they're coming so that, we're prepared and the Back Porch is ready. So when I looked at it, I'm like, looks like it's going to be 50, maybe 55 people. The final official count was actually 69, so as Quimby would say, giggity, giggity, right? But just a huge day. Absolutely huge day. Huge turnout. It was awesome. We took over the restaurant. It was fantastic. I've got 30 to 35 coming out tomorrow night, which is a little bit of a surprise, seeing as it's a weeknight game, prime time. But given the magnitude of the game, I guess that's playing a role too. But a huge, huge day on Sunday, and it looks like another good night tomorrow night. For a weeknight game, it's pretty good for this area. So we're hoping to build on that. We're going to start. We're going to get T-shirts that we're going to make, and those will be fun. The image is pretty funny. It is actually. Let me see if I can pull it up here. If I can get it from my inbox. Yes, image. Image. Come on, damn it. Open. What do you mean? Download. Let's try this instead. Image. What are you trying to do to me here? So that didn't work. Oh well. Anyways. Well, I can show you guys another time. It's a pretty cool thing though. So it's got on the back, we'll have in a circle, just black Kelly green shirt, black circle, Midwest Eagles nest with with the modern style eagle in the middle of it. On the front, it shows like an EKG reading, right? The heartbeat and EAGLES. But instead of the A, the A is there, but it's got an X over it, and above it is a K. So the thought there is the birds like to what I told the group anyways was the birds like to have us looking like we should be taking out stock in heart medication every week through the series of mini heart attacks they put us through. So we have the heartbeat and it's going to say EKG LES. I thought it was a pretty cool play on it. So we got those designed and on Kelly green shirts. So we're going to be selling those, be anywhere from $15 to $20, depending on order volume. The more we order, the cheaper the shirts get. We're hoping to get it down to a $15 each T-shirt there, and go from there. Hoodies, stuff like that, hats, whatever people want and are willing to pay for, basically. So I got cut down kind of a rabbit hole there, but I'm pretty excited about the way our group is going. Califoot joins the room. What's up, people? Got a Cowboys safety shirt and some coasters for sale. Califoot sends me this picture of these. How about them Cowboys coasters the other night? I could have died laughing. Sorry I didn't get back to you, buddy. It's been if you obviously didn't see the intro, it's been a pretty rough couple days for me. So I've just been a little bit subdued, and I'm a little subdued tonight. So I do apologize for that. But boner of the week wise, yeah, I get the Debo thing. Lou, you're not wrong. Okay. Lou likes to guess the boner of the week each week, and a lot of times he's right. And I will tell you, while I think Irvin is the better candidate, Lou, you're not wrong. Because Debo acting like a complete dick, which is why I think this is going to be his last year in Frisco. I think they will trade him or unload him somehow during the offseason, provided Brandon Ayuk can come back. I don't know. If he can't come back, that might change things. All right. Now, part of what made you get that many people. So Super Bowl 2 years ago, we had about 70 to 75 people at the back porch. That was a Super Bowl, right? That was also the first year that we really tried to push this and make this a thing. To get 69 people on a Sunday afternoon against the Cowboys in the middle of the season, Mike looked at me at one point. He's like, when it comes to playoffs, I'm like, might want to tell other people they're going to have to look for some other place to go because we're going to take over that fucking place. But when you get that many people in, you want to win the game, right? I mean, it would have been a disaster to lose that game. Well, thankfully, after a really rough start, our birds delivered. All right. Now, look, all week long, I've been seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts hate. Okay. Now, and I am not here to be a Jalen Hurts apologist either. I will tell you, if you want to rip him up and down for how bad he was during most of the first half, I'm on your side. He was terrible. Now, we can talk about the sun glare and all of that shit, but the bottom line is he had 2 turnovers, both of which were absolutely atrocious. The sun in your eyes does not make you fumble a football. The sun was not in his eyes when he makes a terrible read and an even worse throw, which resulted in an interception in the end zone. All right, those are Jalen Hurts mistakes, and very much reminiscent of what we saw prior to the bye week, which is what made me nervous. So if you want to bury him for that, I get it. He was not, and then on top of all that, holding the ball way too long, not getting out of the pocket. He got sacked 5 times in that game. 5 times against that Dallas defense that we talked about last week is just not all that good. Now, can they get after the quarterback? Is Micah Parsons back on the field? Sure, and I get it. But those sacks were more indicative of him either not reading it downfield. I just don't. He gets into these funks where that internal clock is just not operating. He has got to understand 4-second maximum, okay? Preferably, you've got that ball out in 3, right, at most. But you got a 4-second max, dude, before somebody's going to come get you. The offensive line can only do so much. And if it's not there or you haven't seen something, you got to get the hell out of there. You're mobile enough to get out of there and either throw the ball away or, take off and run, whatever the case may be. Don't take the negative play and don't take the hit. I mean, Lord knows Sirianni is so much in love with that fucking brotherly shove that you're going to get mauled a few times a game anyways. Don't take these unnecessary hits. And he just keeps doing it. And it's erratic. Like, we hadn't seen him play like that since before the bye week. Right? So it was the Tampa game, which Tampa game I was willing to give him a pass on because no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, no Lane Johnson. What the hell do you really want him to do? But then here we are on Sunday against Dallas, who we talked about is just not that good. And he's getting dumped unnecessarily. It was really, really awful. So if you guys are some of the folks that are out there ripping him a new one for how he played during most of the first half on Sunday, I got it. I'm on your side. I'm with you. I will rip him too. However, you got to be consistent. Because as bad as he was during most of the first half, he was equally excellent in the second half. You saw quicker decisions being made. He got out of the pocket much faster. He threw the ball away when nothing was there. He took off and ran, right? He ends the game 14 of 20, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception, the 1 fumble lost, but also 7 carries, 56 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For as bad as he was early, he was awesome in the second half, right? From basically that last drive of the first half where he hits Goddard for the touchdown until the starters got pulled, Jalen Hurts was really, really good from that point. Prior to that, he was shit. He was dog shit. Fair. But from that last drive, from the start of that last drive until all the starters got pulled, Jalen was excellent. Now, I don't need him to be a world beater all the time. I just need him to be smart consistently. Okay? So listen to how I phrase that. I do not need him to be consistently excellent, pinpoint. I need him to be consistently smart as the quarterback. It's obvious what we're doing. Very obvious how we are going to be effective offensively going forward. And that is Jalen Hurts has 20 to 25 pass attempts. And we run the ball. Where is it? Where's my team stats, you prick? And we run the ball, 35 to 45 times. That's going to be the recipe. It's what's worked for us coming out of the bye week. You heard Lane Johnson talk about it. They went to Sirianni, him and others. The offensive went to Sirianni. Dude, we have got to run the ball more. Okay? We need to be a run-first offense. And I agree. When they paid Jalen Hurts that contract, they weren't paying him to be, a pocket passer. You weren't paying him you didn't pay him that because he's Patrick Mahomes. You paid him that for what he does well, for how it fits this scheme. That's what you paid him for. And then last year, it felt like they tried to take that away from him. Like they were so worried about protecting the investment that they were trying to change what made him worth investing that in. And now, over these last 5 games, I think you've seen us go back to, first of all, I think Kellen Moore has way more control now than he did prior to the bye week. Okay. But I think you've seen that offense go back to how Jalen is special. He can make some decent throws. He's also very athletic. He's not a speed runner. He can lower his shoulder into people. It's that sort of offense. That's what you saw in 2022, right? He doesn't need to throw the ball 40 times. If we're going to have a game where Jalen's got to throw the ball 40 to 50 times, we're in trouble, all right? The bottom line is he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow, not as a passer, okay? As a quarterback, somebody who you want the ball in their hands every snap, I'm okay with it. But he's got to be consistently smart. And that's what you saw in the second half. Last drive of the first half into the second half before the starters got pulled, was you saw a much more intelligent football player step back out on the field. And I do think he's a smart football player. I just think he gets into these ruts and it becomes difficult. Now, the interception he throws in the end zone is atrocious. It's a bad read. Calcaterra is wide open off to the left. He hits him. Maybe Calcaterra doesn't get in. I think he probably does. Instead, he stares down Goddard and then makes a bad throw to Goddard, too. It's one thing to want to throw it to that guy. It's a whole other thing to then follow that up with a bad throw. And, Diggs just had to reach out his hands and grab it. That throw needed to be up where only his guy can go make the play on it, right? Or just throw it out of the back of the end zone. He didn't see Calcaterra, fine, whatever. Goddard with that throw was a bad, bad play. And the fumble was awful as well. But he ends the game with 4 total touchdowns. He ends the game with, how many yards is that? 202 with 258 total yards and 4 touchdowns in basically 3 quarters of football. Right? So I can't bitch too much. You can complain and bash him about how we started, but if you're going to do that, you got to have both sides. You got to also praise him for what he did well after that. Okay? Can't just have it one way. Can't just, well, he sucks because he did this and that. And then he settles down, puts up a great game, and you're fucking quiet. Like, I need to hear you. Okay? All right, Keenan Harmon. Jalen is constantly playing like he's down by 2 touchdowns and time is running out. He doesn't have to be Superman every down. And I agree with that. I think he does look for that play way, way downfield. Which, first of all, he needs to control himself because he doesn't have the greatest arm in the world. But I do think he's always looking for that big shot. And he's just got to wait for when that defense comes up and just says, we're not letting Saquon beat us, leaves that single high safety out there and single coverage on the outside, and then chuck one out there for AJ or Devontae. But until then, you got to take what the defense is giving you. 4 to 5 yard passes, I'll take them all day long. You want to tell me I can drop back and throw a 4-yard pass every time? Guys, 4 times 3 equals 12. I'm moving the chains, baby. And eventually you're going to creep up. You're going to play too tight. And then I'm going to beat you over the top. It's that simple. So I agree. Jalen's got to stop trying to play a little bit of hero ball. Yeah, glad to see they used Jakey a little bit more. Absolutely. Oh, no doubt, Califoot. Dave, again, Jalen needs to wake up. With any good team doing what he did in the first half, we would have lost. The bitches suck is the only reason why we won. Yeah, true, but he also did, like I said, rebound and put up a very nice, second half or whatever you want to call it. He didn't play the whole second half, but that last drive of the first quarter or the first half and then all of the third quarter, Jalen was excellent. But I do agree. You can't go out there and make those mistakes against good teams. You just got to take what they're giving you. Better defenses, better teams are not going to give you that downfield shot. You may only get one of them throughout the course of the game. So, yeah. Califoot, dope stole my Saquon TD. Yeah, I'm wondering when Saquon's going to be like, dude, can I, would it be okay if I score a touchdown here? So Barkley in, a little less than 3/4 of football, 14 carries, 66 yards, one catch for 12 yards. Again, he doesn't play the fourth quarter. There was, I think, a couple minutes left in the third, and then all of the fourth where the starters didn't play. Will Shipley, 9 carries, 34 yards. I like Will Shipley. I'd like to see more of him. Kenny Gainwell, 7 carries, 30 yards, and 1 catch for 9 yards. I think Kenny Gainwell's been actually pretty good in that backup role, doing just enough to give Saquon a breather, which is really all we need him to do. On the receiving end, A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 109 yards. Dotson had the 127-yard catch. Dallas Goedert, 2 catches, 25 yards, the touchdown. Devontae Smith, very limited. 2 catches, 14 yards. Anais Smith, 2 catches, 6 yards. Johnny Wilson with his first career touchdown. That was nice to see. 1 catch, 5 yards, touchdown. And I see people complaining, well, why isn't Smith getting this? And why is it all going to Brown? And blah, or when it all goes to Smith, it's why not involve both of them? Blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, I just told you before what our recipe for victory is. It's Jalen with 20 to 25 pass attempts. He's not going to complete all of them, right? He was 14 of 20 on Sunday. You need him to be efficient at 20 to 25 pass attempts. Get your, somewhere between 30 and 60 yards rushing. And that's the recipe. So when you're not throwing the ball as many times, there's just not enough targets to go around. Some weeks Devontae's going to eat. Some weeks AJ's going to eat. Some weeks Dallas Goedert is going to eat, like in New Orleans. That's the way it's going to go. Some weeks it's going to be all Saquon Barkley. I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, do you want to win football games or do you want guys to get stats? Because if all you're talking about is guys' stats, then I think you're just sitting there playing fucking fantasy football. And while I used to have my fun playing it, I don't play it anymore. But I can tell you, even when I was playing it, I could give a flying shit as long as my team won. Like my birds first. It was always birds first. Period. End of story. Don't want to hear about it. So if you're we're on a 5-game winning streak. Okay? If you're bitching because one or the other receiver isn't getting to eat, then you're just not that invested in the team overall, guys. I mean, I would just tell you that. Would I like to see Devontae Smith get more? Sure. I do still think he's the most talented receiver on the roster. A.J. Brown brings a physicality that is DK Metcalf is probably the only wide receiver who's more physically imposing. I will take A.J. Brown in a one-on-one situation against any corner in the league. I will take my chances with that matchup. I don't care who it is. I don't. I do not care who it is. I don't care if it's Christian Gonzalez in New England. I don't care if it's Diggs in Dallas. I don't care. I don't care if it's Jalen Ramsey. I do not give a damn. I will take AJ. If it's a one-on-one situation, I will throw that ball out there to AJ every time. And if I get picked off or whatever, then so be it. Ball gets knocked away, so be it. But AJ is physically stronger than any corner in the league. He's only 6'1", and I say only. I'm 5'11". I say only. So it's not like what I mean is he's just not the tallest receiver. You take guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Johnny Wilson is 6'6". But AJ 6'1", but he's 230 pounds. This is a brick of a human. So ideally, you would like to cover him with a safety, somebody who is a little bit more physically imposing. Problem is he's too fast for safeties. So you can't one-on-one him with a safety, or then you're getting torched. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So zone is the way to beat us in the passing game. Jalen struggles with it. I would like to see more slant passes. I don't know about you guys. I'm not seeing a whole lot as much of that. But I mean, overall, it's a 5-game winning streak, folks. And now we go into tomorrow night against this is the showdown. This is it. So big win against Dallas, 34-6. That's like the Christmas gift that keeps on giving. I don't care how bad they are. You go down to Dallas. You realize we hadn't won in Dallas since 2017. You understand that? So we've exercised 3 of those demons this year. We had been 0 for our last 3 in New Orleans. Went down there and won. Ugly game. Still got the win. We had never won here in Cincinnati. Came here and smacked the Bengals around like a rented mule. And we hadn't won in Dallas since 2017. We went down there, and I get it. No Dak, rookies on the offensive line. They can't run the ball, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But we went down there and whooped their ass 34-6, basically in like 2-ish quarters of football, right? Because the starters were off the field late in the third quarter. We got off to an absolutely atrocious start. Two quarters of football, roughly. So, look, I would like to get off to better starts more consistently. I mean, we did score an early touchdown, but then it got sloppy. I would like to see more consistency out of the gates rather than having to run it up in the second half. If we're going to score 34 points, there's nothing wrong with scoring 17 each half, right? So overall, you can't complain, right? And the biggest thing with this was getting that lead and having at least the fourth quarter to pull everyone off the field and get them rested for tomorrow night. All right. Do I think maybe early in the game on Sunday there might have been a little bit of we're looking too far ahead at that Washington game, especially going in there knowing Washington had lost? It's possible. Because you definitely did see a different Jalen Hurts coming out in the second half. But either way, guys, it's a 34-6 win in Dallas, a place we hadn't won in 7 years. Yeah, it's a 5-game winning streak, and now we're home on Thursday night tomorrow night against the Commodes. This is a big one. We, Pittsburgh did the Lord's work on Sunday and knocked them down a peg, right? That was nice to see. Let's get the stat line on that one. Where the hell is it? So I got up to the back porch early, had some food, and chilled out for a bit before all the madness started. But a 28-27 Pittsburgh win in Washington in a game where Jaden Daniels was not very good. Really not very good at all. 17 to 34, 202 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't throw any interceptions, didn't lose any fumbles, but 50% completion percentage, 202 yards, no touchdowns, and got sacked 3 times. He ran 3 times for 5 yards. He was just not very good. Much to Pittsburgh's credit in the way they lined up their defense, they are very strong defensively. And they were able to contain him, keep him in the pocket, make him uncomfortable, right? Keep him contained, and then let that pressure from the middle in front of him come right into his face. And that's the way to do it. So, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to need big games from Jalen Carter, from Milton Williams, Moro Ojomo, Jordan Davis. They're going to have to get a good push up front to combine with the speed rush on the outside and keep him in that pocket and make him uncomfortable. Who really scares you on that roster, on that Washington roster, outside of Jaden Daniels? I'm asking an honest question here. I want you guys to tell me who really scares you. Terry McLaurin, right? Russ Taylor in the room. You mean Commanders? And yeah, I was waiting for somebody to notice. Jerome Brown. Love this jersey. Probably wearing this one when we do the Kelly Green Dallas. Kelly Green against the Jaguars. I have my Dawkins Kelly Green jersey. This one I'm probably going to wear for the Dallas one. It's the old style. Old style rivalry. Russ, you're saying Zach Ertz. Are you really that scared of Ertz anymore? I mean, think about it. Yeah, and it is incorrect for the jersey. I agree, but it was the one I could get at the time. So, but does Zach Ertz really scare you at this point? I mean, he had 4 catches. He had 8 targets, 4 catches, 31 yards. His longest catch was 9 yards. I'm not. He wants. Okay, so Russ is saying he wants. He's saying Ertz wants to have a big game in the homecoming, and I can see that. I can understand that. I'm not sure he's going to get it though. I think talent wise overall. Let's look at it this way, and you guys feel free to chime in. Tell me where Washington is better on the field. Okay. Look, I'm not you guys know how I'm very wishy-washy on Nick Sirianni. We can talk about that a little bit too, but I want you guys to tell me what position the Commanders are better than we are. Position or position group. You go ahead and post it up there. See, because I will look at this and I will tell you that quarterback-wise, I'm taking Jalen Hurts. Okay? I don't – look, I think Jaden Daniels is a nice kid. Like he's having a nice rookie season. But I also do still think he's a rookie and will make more mistakes. And now that we're, more than halfway through the season, they're going to have to be aware that there's a lot of tape and film on this kid now. So, quarterback, I'm still taking Jalen. I know some of you may not. Running back, it's not even a question. Saquon Barkley is light years better than anything they've got. Wide receiver, Terry McLaurin is a stud. Got it. So is A.J. Brown. Who's their number 2? Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, Zacchaeus. Devontae Smith is way better than any of those guys. Who's their number 3? Again, Noah Brown, McCaffrey, blah, blah, blah. I know Jahan Dotson hasn't been anything great, but honestly, who has been great in that wide receiver 3 role on this team? Right? Quez Watkins had a decent 2022 season, but I mean, we haven't really been able to figure that out. And I think a lot of it is because we just don't need to throw the ball that much. Our wide receiver 3 is really our tight end. So then now you want to look at Zach Ertz versus Dallas Goedert? I think at this point in their careers, the edge goes to Goddard. Ertz may still have better hands, but it's not like Goddard's a slouch, and Goddard blocks better. Let's not act like Zach Ertz was this, this menace of a blocking tight end. I mean, my God, the guy shied away from contact more than most freaking. Zach Ertz looked like he was always out there making business decisions. Is basically what I would say. Offensive line, not even close. Birds are better. Switch over to the defense. Defensive line. All right. I mean, I know Washington gets after the quarterback. I get it. I totally get it. Dan Quinn is a great defensive coach, and he's the head coach down there, so he sticks to his side of the ball. Lets Cliff Kingsbury run the offense, which is exactly what should happen. Nick Sirianni, in case you're not paying attention. Defensively, let's see. Where are the Skins overall? Washington's pass defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th. Is that right? No, that's not right. It's not right at all. There we go. We are second. We've given up 1,732 yards. Washington, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th, 1,986. It's pretty good. Rushing defense. Rushing yards allowed. Birds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. And where are the Commodes? Ooh, boy, they're way down the list. They are 29th in the league in rush defense. So, again, overall, I like our defense. Our corners. Quinion Mitchell is becoming his own island. Cooper DeJean is a freakish athlete. I'm done with Darius Slay. I want to see Rodgers line up opposite of Mitchell with Cooper in the slot. I'm done with Darius Slay. It's over for me. Safety position. Love Reed Blankenship. Gardner Johnson brings a ton of energy out of that field. The front has looked a lot better. Hell, we even had a Bryce Huff sighting again on Sunday. Alex Hunt is out there making plays. He's a rookie. Nolan Smith has been way better than he was the first few weeks. Jalen Carter continues to get tons of pressure and push up front. Nakobe Dean in year 3 playing a nice linebacker position. And let's not forget the guy who is likely the MVP of our defense, Zach Bond. Roger, if you're out there listening, I know you and I were on that very, very early. And a lot of these people are Johnny come lately, but he once again on Sunday led our team in tackles with 8, I believe it was. Let me get to it. Yep, 8. Zach Bond, 8 total tackles, 1 for a loss, 1 forced fumble. I'm sorry, 1 fumble recovered, 2 forced fumbles. Yeah. Zach Bond. The absolute stud that is Zach Bond on a mercenary contract. Right behind him, Nakobe Dean, 6 total tackles. Right? Gardner Johnson, 7 total tackles plus the interception and 1 pass defense. Jalen Carter, 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, 2 quarterback hits, 1 pass defense, half a sack. Bryce Huff with the sack. Milton Williams with the sack. You guys all know that I love Milton Williams. Yeah, you've heard me praise Jalen Carter quite often, dude. It's Jordan Davis that we have an issue with. Hey, Fanny, how you doing? Hi, Jordan. How are you, bud? Yeah, Dave, it's Jalen Carter's not a problem. It's Jordan Davis that we have an issue with, and that reared its head again. When you look at the snap counts, he is once again. Where are we at here? Milton Williams. Yep. He had, aside from Thomas Booker, Jordan Davis had the lowest percentage of snap counts of any defensive tackle on the roster against the Cowboys. And like I keep saying, the issue for Jordan Davis is the lower his snap count percentage has stayed, the better our upfront looks. Okay? That's not a good thing for Jordan Davis. He had 8 more snaps on special teams. I think the writing's on the wall with Jordan Davis. However, I've not had much bad to say about Jalen Carter. Now, it shows him only playing 72% of the snaps. Keep in mind, starters were pulled. Carter, if he played at all after the end of the third quarter, I'd be shocked. Keenan Harmon, I'm running the ball. I'm sacking the quarterback. I'm extending the winning streak. Now, what will Nick do is the question. And therein, folks, lies the problem, right? Look, and this is how we're going to close the show tonight. A lot of people still ripping Nick Sirianni. I get it. His piss poor decisions, although he didn't do that this past Sunday. The Jacksonville game, the New Orleans game, the Atlanta game. You can directly tie 2 very close wins that should have been blowouts and 1 very close loss that should have been a win. You can directly tie those 3 to Nick Sirianni poor decisions. And it's things that he continues to do. And the most frustrating part about it is when he does do it, he gets asked about it in the post-game presser, and he continues to defend it. I don't know how many more times you can really deal with that before somebody goes and hits him on the head with a tack hammer and says, "Wake up, asshole. It ain't working." Being aggressive is fine, but smart aggressive. Not wild, blind aggressiveness like this, or too much devotion to whatever an iPad tells you to do, an analytics type of thing. And I think Nick Sirianni is too much with both of those 2 things. Now, look, we're on a 5-game winning streak. Okay? The guy has coached in 60 NFL games. He's 41-19. So, while it's not, it's frustrating to see him continue to make those poor decisions and see him continue to get away with it. We are 7-2. We are leading our division by a half a game. We're on a 5-game winning streak. We were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. We've made the playoffs every single year that he's been the head coach. And he's 41-19 overall. You're not firing a head coach on the heels of a 5-game winning streak. That's not going to happen. If he was going to get fired, the time to do it was either after last season or when we were sitting at 2-2 going into the bye. Nick Sirianni is not getting fired during this season. And if we continue to win, he shouldn't get fired. Okay? He just shouldn't. You can't do that. I don't know what kind of message anybody's trying to send. So, I understand the frustration. It's just as frustrating to me. But the bottom line is we're a good football team, a damn good one. And over these last 5 games, we've looked every bit the part of, at bare minimum, the second best team in the NFC. Detroit is obviously the top team in the NFC. I'm hoping we get a date with them come January, but we got some work to do tomorrow night. Pittsburgh beats Washington this past Sunday. We smashed Dallas. That gives us a half-game lead in the NFC East. We get Washington at home tomorrow night. The Giants are cooked, okay? We know that. They actually lost that cripple fight in Germany to the freaking Panthers. I would say the Cowboys are probably cooked as well, okay? It's us and the Commodes. That's it. We're a half game up on them right now. Win tomorrow night, you go up a game and a half with a head-to-head victory. Means that second game in Washington, while still likely to be important, we've already got the one in hand. You want to take care of this now and get that game up on them now, because we've got a few tough ones coming up too. Okay? We have to go to LA to play the Rams next Sunday. That is not going to be easy. That's a long travel. That's a tough team. I know Miami beat them. I get it. I got it. But they can be very, very difficult to deal with. Then we got to come all the way back across the country. And we're going to play Baltimore in Baltimore. That's unpleasant. All right. Then we get a cupcake against the Panthers. Then we're going to play. I think that's how it goes, right? It's Washington. Commodes, Rams. Where's the fucking thing here? Just give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Washington tomorrow night in Philly. But after that game, you got to have this one because you're at LA, at Baltimore the next two. All right. While Washington, let's pull up their bullshit. Washington is going to play. Schedule and results. So after our game tomorrow night, we will head to LA. They will go to Dallas, who stinks. We will then come back from LA and have to play at Baltimore. Washington. So Washington's next two games after tomorrow night. This is okay. You got to beat them tomorrow night. All right. Because we're going to go to LA and then come back to Baltimore. During that same stretch, they are home for Dallas and Tennessee. Got to have this game tomorrow night. Take a stranglehold in the division. You get the game in hand against them. After Baltimore, we are home for Carolina while they are at the Saints. Saints stink too. Then we're home for Pittsburgh. Right, what, am I misreading something here? They get their bye week. So when we're against Carolina, they're on their bye week. Then we are home for Pittsburgh. They're at New Orleans. Again, lopsided. Home for Pittsburgh is a tougher game than at New Orleans. Then we match up again in Washington. And to close out the year, they are home for Atlanta and at Dallas, while we are home for Dallas and New York. These next few weeks are going to dictate the division, right? Starting with tomorrow night. And I think it's imperative that we continue this win streak and get this victory. It's home. We are the better team. And you guys know my policy when we're the better team. I understand we just played 4 days ago, but let's be honest, that game wasn't that rough. Okay? We are home. We are the better team. Again, you know my policy when we're the better team. You should win that football game. You want me to call it? 27-20, 24-17, 24-20, somewhere in that range. I don't think it's a blowout. But I do think we get the victory because we're better. We're a better team. Every single position group we are better at than them, period. The only thing that could kill us is that wild card, Nick Sirianni. So, Fanny says 24-21 by a field goal. Oh, great. So that EKG t-shirt that we're getting made kind of fits what you want, right? I was hoping for 27-20 where they score a late touchdown. But that's all I got for tonight, kids. Thanks for bearing with me. It's been a rough week so far. Hopefully it gets better from here as we end. We look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Califoot, go bet your beer with somebody else. That's just not my thing, buddy. I did that Yankees Red Sox because it was fun and whatever, but no, it's not my thing, bud. I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, thanks for bearing with me tonight, guys. I'm a little worn out, a little bit of a long week, but we'll get through it. And then we'll be back again next week on Wednesday. May try to get back to the back porch next Wednesday to talk about what will be the upcoming LA game that I am flying to LA for. For those of you, anybody out there, Green Legion land, that is also heading out there for the LA game, I will see you there. I will be with Quimby the whole weekend, helping with the check-ins and whatever else he needs me to do, radio show, all of that sort of stuff. So for all of you in the room, again, thank you for bearing with me. I really, really appreciate it as always. Come on back again next week. We'll talk about what was hopefully a Birds victory tomorrow night and the upcoming game against the Rams. Until then, folks, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family, proudly brought to you by the beautiful women at Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party planning. Guys, girls, kids, everyone, be safe, have fun, enjoy the upcoming weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Remember that Judge is not back in until Monday. And as always, folks, go Birds. All right, kids, you take care. Be good. We love you.